The 1920s was a hard time, and it was also a good time. It was also known as the Roaring Twenties because this is when the population really sparked, and a lot of people were coming in from other countries, and a lot of people were being born during this time. There was new music introduced, such as jazz, and it was very, very popular. There was new sports, such as rugby, and this was also a time where baseball really started getting popular. There was also a lot of hard times ahead. The U.S. lost a lot of money at the end of the 1920s, because the stock market crashed, and this really caused a problem. There was a lot of murder going on, and there was a slang word used which meant to take somebody to the desert to kill them, which you would say, take them for a ride. There was a lot of murder, especially since a new gangster was on the rise. This gangster was known as Al Capone. He was earning millions from money laundering, booze, illegal drugs. He was suspected to be part of the Valentine's Day massacre, but he was never actually guilty for the massacre. This is where the Valentine's Day massacre was, where a lot of people were killed on Valentine's Day and nobody was ever convicted. He was eventually caught on tax evasion, which is avoiding your money for a long time, and he was eventually sent to a prison in Kansas where he was able to run his business. So then they sent him to Alcatraz, where he spent 20 to 30 years of his life. Next up was the Great Depression. The Great Depression was in 1929, and it was where a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people were living on the streets, and it caused a lot of problems because there were a lot of deaths during this time. First up is the penal system, also known as the penalty system. Was a system that had punishments for criminals, mostly consisting of prisons. A lot of the prisons consisted of black people at time because the whites were trying to find anything to convict the black people. The prisons were usually in horrible condition. They were very harsh. The guards were rather very hard with physical contact. The cells were steel and itchy cotton and a toilet with bad plumbing. The food was usually slush, bread, and mayonnaise, and the courtyards were concrete benches and 1 or 2 basketball hoops. This is where a lot of killing happened. One of the most famous prisons was Alcatraz Island. It was an island off the coast of California, that a lot of the worst criminals went to. It was eventually shut down and considered inhumane. Next up is slang. The slang from this time is what we use a lot today. Attaboy is usually what a dad says to his son when his son has done something really good. To say we have beef is to say that you have a grievance with somebody and that you would like to solve that grievance in one way or another. And a gold digger was a woman that married a man for his money and not for his love. Next up is the economy. The economy was starting to go up, but eventually crashed at the end in 1929. A lot of people lost their money, and the U.S. started losing a lot of money. The Great Depression started happening, and a lot of people lost their jobs, their houses, and died. Next up is civil rights. A lot of women were fighting for their rights. A lot of blacks were fighting for their rights. There were usually marches. Black marches were eventually started becoming violent, but women marches were always usually just signs and elegance. And that's the end of my presentation.